Hello everyone. Today's presentation is about portion control and weight loss. I hope this is helpful to you in determining how much portion is necessary when you are trying to attempt weight loss. A little bit about myself. My name is Fatima Iqbal. I'm a board certified internal medicine physician who also specializes in obesity medicine. My goal is to help people understand a lot more about obesity and how they can progress further in their journey for weight loss. With that said, let's get started. As we all know, obesity is a disease that has become basically a pandemic all across the globe, given that a lot more processed food is now available, restaurants are prevalent, things are changing. So this has become that something that has been of serious concern. As internist, as working in not just hospital medicine but primary care, see a lot of obese patients with multiple comorbidities, and often the questions arise: how much should I eat? What is the right balance of food? So this presentation is to help understand how much food is necessary, how much portion is necessary for weight loss. In this article, we're going to scientifically present data where research has shown that portion control has been of help and how that needs to be incorporated in patients' diets. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So that's the best way when you approach obesity. In my opinion, this quote is a good one when it talks about the disease of obesity, because a lot of times we contemplate, we procrastinate, but don't incorporate. So I think it's time to start doing things that you always wanted to do. So what does scientific data shows about the portion size? Research shows that when you are presented with bigger portions of food, or if you have a table that is full of food, then consumption of that food increases. More food is taken in. Same goes when you go to restaurants, especially here in America, we get presented with larger portions of food. When you go to, say, for example, Olive Garden or um, Texas Steakhouse or Roadhouse, you get bigger portions of food. And so when your plate is full of food, then our portion size automatically increases, and we kind of understand that this is the size that we need to eat. And so that this is something that has been ongoing, especially here in the U.S., where the quantity of food is just greater whenever it's presented. When you order a meal for one person, it has a substantial amount of food on it. And so when these larger quantities of food are presented to people, even though their satisfaction hormones are signaling satisfaction, when you see it in front of your face, uh, overconsumption just becomes common. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're out on in a restaurant, whenever you're out eating, or even at home when you are preparing your food. You need to understand that larger quantities of food presented on the table or in front of you tend to make overconsumption quite easy. Something to keep in mind is whenever you are going out to eat, buffets are definitely not a good idea because of the amount of food that is presented. You're kind of paying for it, so you feel like you need to eat, have more quantities of food in. So whenever you see diets that are commercial in nature, they would always have the use of cups or spoons or scales to measure out how much quantity of food should be taken in. So any diet has this component to it. So I think that becomes an important tool. And also another tool is plates that are clearly demarcated, have portions on it, and the sizes are not that big. So you can also incorporate that within your daily lifestyle using a plate that is separate from the larger plates and has portions on it where you can put your veggies on one side, your carbohydrates on the other, protein on the other side, and that gives you a good boundary line when it comes to weight control or trying to minimize the larger portions. Similar concept applies to the weight loss industries. If you ever had ordered food from Weight Watchers or when you have these commercial dietary industries that are sending you prepackaged foods, or you're even getting it from your grocery store where they have these frozen sections and you have these pre-proportioned foods, you have to kind of look at it. They are pre-proportioned. So they are presented in a way that, okay, this is one meal. And so that makes it easier for the consumer to understand, okay, this is my proportion size. This is all I'm going to eat for lunch or dinner. And so that becomes an important concept when it comes to weight loss because portion control is what weight loss industries use. It's not necessarily the ingredients all the time, but it is the portion of the ingredients that they are giving to you that does help with weight loss. Another concept is of that of food density. So density means the thickness or the um, basically the difference between a fruit or vegetable or a salad sort of a dish versus a pasta sort of a dish. So of course the pasta being of a higher density, packed carbohydrates being of a higher density. So that makes a difference when it comes to weight loss as well. And so when you see that even though you may be having a portion with salad on it and you replace it with pasta, that increases the density of the food. And that makes you eat more calories in because, of course, anything that has a higher density, such as your pastas, your breads, your creamy macaroni, mac and cheese, these are higher density foods. And so, uh, not just that the okay, well, I've just put a appropriate proportion of that food. That food has higher density in it, which means it has higher calories in it. And so, once the density of the food is also understood, and you understand that these certain foods carry a higher density and so will end up making me consume greater amount of calories, then that becomes counterproductive towards weight loss. So the portion size may be appropriate of that food. However, that food has higher density and such higher calories versus something that is more, say, steamed vegetables or um, um, a small salad that can have lower density and have a better impact on weight loss. And studies have shown that once the density of the food is reduced, that does help in weight loss in over a 6 month period. So that is something to keep in mind as well when you are consuming or trying to ration out your food proportions. Here I want to give a small summary of the points that are presented. Um, If a person's diet is severely restricted, the food intake, which they are restricting, this causes a greater amount of hunger and thus overeating. This is something that has been proven in studies again and again. If you restrict your calories on any diet, where you are trying not to eat as much, then it ends up causing those counter hormones to cause more hunger. And hence, as a result, people tend to overeat. But if you change the density of the food that you eat to one of that is lower in calorie, lower in density, and higher in water content and fiber, then it actually increases the satisfaction and prevents those counter hormones of hunger from taking over and hence leading to weight loss. So this is something that you should keep in mind as you are choosing foods to eat. I want to thank you very much for listening into my presentation. My website is www.fatimaiqbalmd.com.